Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining to our session, which will be dedicated to computer science major today. And today we're going to have 3 speakers. I hope that all of you can find something helpful for you. And without any further ado, I'd like to welcome Temirzhan, who is a senior student majoring in computer science. He's going to talk about his internship experience, and also if you have any questions, you can either write them in the chat during the speech, or you can unmute yourself after the speech and ask them directly. So welcome, Temirzhan, the floor is yours.
Yeah, hi everyone. Can I ask for how many minutes I should speak, roughly?
You can talk for 20 minutes if you have some things to say, and you can answer the questions as you go.
Okay, cool. Okay, thanks. Yeah, okay. Hi everyone. My name is Temirzhan. Thank you, Alina, for introduction. Yeah, so today I'm going to talk mostly about the internships and how you get internships as a computer science student. So I will talk about my experience of getting internships, how I prepared for interviews, how I prepared my resume, and hopefully it will be useful for you. So let me share my screen first. Okay. Okay, let me close these links. Okay, cool. So you see my screen, right? Okay, so let's get started. Here's a little introduction about me. So I'm a graduate of NIS CMA. I got the direct admission to NU since 2018, and I did some informatics Olympiad at school, and that's how I got into NU, just by participating in national Olympiads. Yeah, and here's my experience of internships and work. So you can see that I just started from N Factorial Incubator, which is a mentorship program organized by Arman Solomyanov in Almaty in 2018. After that, I did an internship in Yandex as a software engineering intern in Moscow. Then during the COVID, I just did a remote internship with Ethereum blockchain. Then I just had some work experience of being a real software engineer in a labs team in Almaty. Yeah, and my last internship, it was in Hong Kong. It was last summer, in a company called Citadel Securities. So Citadel Securities is a trading company that uses the power of engineers to kind of automate the process of trading by looking at opportunities on the market and deciding what to buy, what to sell, and so on. So it was a kind of a unique experience of being both a software engineer and also learning more about finance. Yeah, so this is my kind of experience. And now I will talk about how I got these internships, and you can take the same approach, you can take the same steps, and you will also get the internships, okay? So let's get started. Okay, so here are just steps to take. We'll go through all of them one by one. So the first step is, of course, just to prepare a resume, okay? So there are 2 best websites that I know where people prepare their resumes. This is overleaf.com and novaresume.com. So I personally use Overleaf. So let's go to Overleaf and see how it looks like. Okay, so let me log out. Yeah, so here's Overleaf. I think it's one of the most popular websites to prepare your resumes, because when you prepare your resume, it's written in LaTeX. This is one of the most popular formats in scientific world to prepare your research papers, to prepare your writings, and so on. And it's also very popular to prepare your resumes, because when an HR will look at your resume, and if HR sees that your resume is in LaTeX, it's a good sign usually. Okay. So how you can prepare your resume? Let me just log in and show you how you do your resume. Okay, so here are just a list of all my documents that I made so far. So let me just go to some arbitrary resume, for example, this one. So the interface is very simple. You just have a source here, and you see the result here. So it's a very kind of well formatted document with all kind of bullet points, and it looks very nice. And changing it is also very easy. So suppose like I want to change my name from like Temirzhan Yusupov, and let's say I want something like Yusupov Temirzhan. So I just change it here, do recompile, and I immediately see the result here. So it's very simple. Like the most kind of, I think the difficult problem is just to think about the contents of your resume. But if you sit for like an hour or two, you'll be fine. You'll find something to write. It's also okay if your resume is not full. Like usually the ideal size of your resume is 1 page, but it's not kind of a mandatory thing. It can be less than 1 page for sure. For example, if you are like, especially if you're a first-year student, you probably don't have much work experience or projects. It's fine if your resume is like half the page. It's also fine. Because like HRs know that you are a first-year student, you don't have much work experience, it's absolutely fine. Yeah, so if you want to find some templates, you just can Google Overleaf resume templates and just find the one you like. Like it's up to you. All of them are good. Personally, I use this kind of template, but it's up to you. Okay, cool. The another popular option is novoresume.com. It's also a very popular one. I used it on my first year. It's kind of easier, I think, because it doesn't use this Flutter with some weird syntax. But to be honest, I would recommend you to use Overleaf, because I see that most of my friends, me, they all use Overleaf, and yeah, it works great. Okay, cool. So okay, so we talked about how you prepare your resumes, right? You go to either Overleaf, Novo Resume, you find templates, and you just fill in the contents. Okay, now you have a resume, cool. Regarding what you put into your resume, it's also a huge topic. I don't think I have time to cover this, but you definitely can find the resources online. Okay, but usually your resume looks like education, experience, projects, achievements. Like usually it's kind of the same kind of pattern. Okay, so you have your resume. What is the next step? Next step is to apply to internships. And the next question is like where you find these companies that are ready to consider you for their internships. So many computer science students think about this, and some computer science students, they create a very helpful GitHub repositories with a list of all companies that you can apply to. So it's a very, very helpful. Okay, so here is a GitHub resume that is called Summer 2022 Tech Internships. So it's a company that are receiving submissions for their next summer internships, okay? And here's the huge list of companies, okay? And you can just apply to all of them. So let me show you an example. So suppose like I see a company, it's called Observer. I just go to a website. Okay, I see the description, it looks very cool. And suppose that I find the position that I'm interested in. So this position looks interesting. Software engineering intern in Amsterdam. Cool, so let me apply. So I press the button, and usually on all websites, you will see the same kind of form. You will see first name, last name, email, phone, city, resume, of course, cover letter sometimes. You can select your school and just answer some questions. So filling the forms for your software engineering intern applications is very easy. It takes usually like 3 or 4 minutes. And then you can just go to all of these companies and apply to all of them, really. And there are multiple such lists. For example, this one is also very popular. It shows the list of companies that are receiving applications to Europe. Like usually, students from Kazakhstan, they go to internships to Europe because it's very hard to get an internship in US. It's like almost impossible because of visa complications. So I would encourage you to apply to EMEA and APAC internships. So EMEA stands for European, Middle East, Asia, I think. And APAC stands for Asia Pacific region. So basically you go to either Europe or Asia, like to countries like Hong Kong, for example, where I did my internship. So this list will be very useful for you. I would encourage you to apply to all these companies. And the approach is definitely the same. You just fill in the form, apply your, submit your resume, and that's it. Okay, cool. So you now have your resume. You now know the list of companies that are ready to consider you for the internship. So suppose that you submitted your resume to all of them, and one day you wake up and like you receive an email from HR saying like, cool, we liked your resume, let's have an interview. And you're like, cool, I should prepare for my interview, right? So usually as a computer science student, since you're applying to software engineering internships, as a rule, you should prepare for technical interviews, which cover algorithmic problem solving. Okay, so this is a very huge topic as well. But the best approach, like to prepare for your technical interviews, is just to solve problems. Okay, so let me show you the websites that like all students use to prepare for their interviews. So there are two most popular websites. The most popular one is LeetCode. You probably already heard of it. So this is just a very good website to prepare for interviews, because on this website, you can just browse the companies and their problems that they ask in the interviews. For example, like, let's see. So I see, for example, Google here. So I just press Google and I can see all problems that Google asked on their interviews in the past. Okay, so let's wait while it's loading. And this LeetCode website, it has like problem sets for all kinds of companies, Google, Facebook, like all of them. Okay, so it's not loading. Let's see, maybe let's choose Facebook. Okay, cool. Yeah, so here's the list of problems. You can sort them by difficulty. And let me just go to like any of them. For example, this problem. So I assume that as a kind of first year computer science student, you probably are not really familiar with algorithmic problem interviews, but you definitely will go through all of it throughout your journey as a computer science student. Let me just quickly show you how it looks like. So usually in this kind of problems, you're given some statement. So for example, here, you're given an array nums, and you just have to return the running sum of nums, something like this. Okay, so for example, you're given 1, 2, 3, 4, and you return 1, 3, 6, 10, because 3 is a sum of 1 and 2, 6 is a sum of 1, 2, and 3, and so on. So I will not solve it right now, but I would just want to share you how the problem looks like, okay? And on the interviews, you will get the same format. So the interviewer will be like, okay, so you're given this array, for example, write a function that computes the product of all numbers in this array, for example, something like this. And just to be prepared for like all possible problems, you just should solve many of them, and you will start getting the idea of how to solve them. Okay. Yeah. So use LeetCode for all your preparation. It's a very good website. Probably it's a lot of information right now, but just like this web presentation, we will probably share it with you. Just keep that in mind that there are websites like Overleaf, LeetCode. There are internship lists on GitHub. Just keep that in mind. Okay. Yeah. So suppose that you prepared for your interview, you solved a lot of problems, a lot of questions, and then you get an offer. So that's usually how the process looks like. You prepare your resumes, you apply to internships, and then you go through like interviews. Usually, there are multiple rounds of interviews. Like it differs from each company to each company. For example, in Facebook, if you apply to internship in Facebook, you have 2 rounds of interviews. And in each round of interview, you should solve at least 2 problems to get an offer. For example, like in Citadel, where I did my internship, the process looks different. I had like 6 different interviews. So it differs from company to company. Okay. So hopefully it was useful. Another very useful link that I would suggest you to read is this Our Talent document page. So here you can find a lot of useful information. I would encourage you to read all of it carefully. So here you can, for example, go to Big Tech interviews, and there is a very good guide, or Iron's coding interview guide, which is written by a very cool person. Her name is Irina Karzapova. She's just got many offers to many companies, and she has a very good guide on how to pass these interviews. Yeah, so definitely check this out and just go through this website, read all of it. It will be very useful. Yeah, so I think that's most of it. Here are some links. Here's my Telegram. If you have any questions, just feel free to message me. Yeah, I think that's it for me. Thank you for your time, and just ask any questions if you have any. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Temirzhan, for the very useful speech. And now I'd like to ask any of the students who are here and who listen to the speech, if you have any questions, you can, I can repeat that, you can type them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask directly.
Okay, I see some questions. Okay, so questions are asking for my Telegram and the presentation. So I will send the links to the chat. I also see the question like, what would you change in your first year if you could? Yeah, so that's a good question. I think like in the first year, if you have some Olympiad background at school. So for example, like on your first year as a computer science student, you close courses like CSI 151 and 152, right? And usually if you already know C++, you have a lot of free time. And I had a lot of free time on my first year, of university. So I would probably spend this time on doing more side projects and maybe working in some startups or stuff, because I didn't do much side projects on my first year. But side projects are very good for your resumes as well. Like side projects are just arbitrary thing that you code in your free time. It can be a website, it can be a mobile application, anything. So since I had a lot of free time on my first year, I would like probably do even more side projects for my resume. Yeah, and probably I would also study more for my physics exam because I just failed them. Yeah. Okay. Is it possible to intern during NFIP? I get this question in chat as well. Yeah, it's definitely possible to intern during foundation year program. Probably not in like companies abroad, but you can apply to Kazakh internships as well. So let me just share my screen again. And here's a good repository consisting of Kazakh internships, of like Kazakhstan IT internships. And it's definitely not a problem if you're foundation year program. For Kazakhstan problems, I think it's not a problem at all. Yeah, just go check out their websites and apply to them as well. Like, unfortunately, if you're a foundation year student, probably like abroad companies will not consider you for internships because you are not a student technically yet. Yeah, but since your first year, you are just free to apply everywhere. Yeah, okay. What are the other questions? Enterprise or academia? For me, it's definitely enterprise. I'm not a research person for sure. Like, I have never done research, and it's not really interesting for me, I think, because I look at all papers of my friends who do some really cool research in machine learning or NLP and stuff, and I just don't understand it at all. And I think it's really hard. You should be a big brain. You should have a really big brain to go to academia. But I don't think that I'm that smart. Yeah, so definitely enterprise. By enterprise, we mean like working in industry rather than doing research. Okay. Okay, cool. I think I covered all questions. Okay, so let me send my Telegram here.
And if anyone wants to ask questions from Temirzhan, you have your last chance now.
Yeah, here is the link to the presentation.
Okay, I guess there are no more questions left. So thank you very much, Temirzhan. It was very useful. And yeah, I hope you learned something from him. And now, without any further ado, I'd like to invite Malika, who is a representative of ACM. Malika, you're welcome.
Hello, everyone. So, I was already introduced, my name is Malika. Malika Azamat. I'm computer science second year, so I didn't really go far from you. And I am a chairperson of ACM, a new ACM Student Chapter, and today I will talk primarily about it. And yeah, I can't share my screen. Can you please give me an access?
Yeah, just a second.
Yeah, so meanwhile, I will begin. What is ACM? ACM stands for Association for Computing Machinery, and at our university, it is a club which specializes on promoting IT sphere and computer science at our university and throughout the country. Sometimes we even go worldwide, but everything in its turn. I will now shortly explain what ACM is. I will show you our featured events. So what do we have annually each year, but we always create some new. So yeah, I will also explain what SAG is and what they are about, and then you will have time to ask me some questions. So as I already said, ACM is an international organization. The main ACM we chapter off more specializes on the research, but our club, I guess, it's more enterprise and internships oriented. We have some brilliant members. Some of them are here, for example, Temirzhan here, and I've seen Dana here. So yeah, our goal is to bring people together, and without all those beautiful words, we want to make CS more popular, make it equal opportunity major, so that no matter what my gender is, what my eyes look like, I will be able to succeed in this major. And we want to unite people under the same goal, like-minded people who keen on making new things and creating technologies. And what do we do in order to achieve this goal? We have really tons of events, some of them, but not limited to. We have hackathons, for example, already, I guess it was third or fourth hackathon we had. It's Hack in You. It's usually hosted in spring, and there are people gathering teams to solve questions in limited time. We gave them around 36 hours. It was last year. And we managed to find really good sponsors at this Hack in You. So it was Microsoft, Google, it also was BTS Digital, and someone, and Facebook, right? And the winners won great prizes. The hackathon really went well. We also have coding marathons. What the difference between marathons and hackathons is that at the hackathon, you at the end of the event, you have a ready project which you can like host somewhere, share in your project list. But the coding marathons are different. They are more competitive programming oriented. So you have just a list of problems, and you need to solve them in several hours. And the more you solve, the better. Some of such marathons are new open, which will be this year too. It will be in this semester. It's Code W, which is coding marathon for women only. And we also have marathons which go several days. For example, starting from tomorrow, we will begin our LeetCode marathon in order to prepare for the interviews together. We also have really lot of workshops. Most of them are include guests from different sides of IT. So as you know, our university does not explain how much variety we have in IT field. So you can be mobile developer, you can be web developer, you can code like, I don't know, apps, games, or maybe like neural networks, right? And we allow people a little bit get to know better technologies others use in order to craft some, like, do some magic, right? We also have tech talks. For example, several days ago, you might have already seen Temirzhan at ACMW's senior talk, and I believe it was really awesome. Thanks him a lot. Apart from the senior talks, we also will be having like internship talk today, where our 3 ACM members will talk about the internships at Yandex, Google, and Bloomberg, respectively. So yeah, waiting for you there. We also talk about not only about like the technical part of IT, but we also had non-technical talks, for example, for product managers, for UI, UX designers. Yeah, so I guess we have a lot of talks. We also go to the academia side of IT and sometimes host masters and research talks where you can know your professors better, know how can you do research, how you can become a research assistant at our university, and what you will get from doing this. So yep. Last year, we also hosted IT Career Fair, where different companies from, well, most of them were from Kazakhstan, but some of them were from Russia and some were from overseas. They were talking about opportunity for students in their companies. And I guess there were around 10 different companies which searched for like students ready to make internship there. And I hope some of the participants could find an internship this way. For you guys, we held final nights also. So for those who struggle with computer science courses, we host final nights to prepare for the finals together with our students who already passed the courses and did it in a good way, like for the A grade. So we do this to like network together, talk about a little, and lift the pressure of the courses. Sometimes we also host more entertaining events like watch movies together or play games. Or I don't know, maybe right now it's online, so it's a little bit hard to host like this, things like this in Zoom. No one just will show up, so yeah. And that was all for the events, and which means we came to our SAGs, and I believe some of you know what SAG is. It's special interest groups where we can, like, our students as well as university students together can work on the same field. So if ACM is about all the IT altogether, SAGs are more field oriented. So we had design SAGs, ACPC SAGs. ACPC is for competitive programming, game development, web development. So it's like making websites, right? Backend, front end development, right? And mobile development. And yeah, we had to launch them already for a while, but it takes a longer time this year because we wanted to restructure stages so that our participant will have a plan. Um, like we will give the list of resources. So for example, I am a rising front-end developer. I want to learn more about it. I go to the resource list and there we gather suggestions, what you would like to do as a front-end dev, right? And we also made created project lists. So it's basically a tutorial and you can go step by step through the tutorial, looking for the help at the materials list and combine this knowledge together in order to at the end of the SAG, so at the end of the semester, you will get a ready project which you can just host anywhere, maybe with NPM or whatever, and add it to your CV. And I think it's really cool because making projects alone very hard, even if you do it by yourself, but you're in a big company, like company of people, right? And everyone doing something, it's like easier to coordinate. You won't be struggle like stuck on anything because the moment you feel that, oh, I can't proceed, you can just ask your questions in the chat, and our those who create the program will help you. So yeah, like it's soon I will post the in our ACM group links to every SAGs, but you already can find the links by the search. It's just some of the SAGs are not launched yet, but ACPC, I guess design and machine learning are already working, so you can check the materials there. And another part which I would really like to show up here is ACMW. So what ACMW is, it's not ACM. ACM Women is a separate international organization, just like ACM is, but they're not the same. And we also have ACMW Student Chapter at our university. They are paired with the ACM Student Chapter. We work together on many events. Code W is one of them. We also will be having Month of Women in 2 weeks. So October is Month of Women, and throughout the October we will post opportunities for women in IT, some inspiring talks, and etc. So yeah, basically the goal of ACMW is really similar to one of ACM, but it's also they built in order to promote women in IT. So as you know, around 7% of programmers are women, and in Kazakhstan this number drops to 5. So I guess we really need them here. I don't want to make my speech too long, but I really want to say this. Recently, exponential program which prepare women to get into internships. And the problem is that women from other universities where there's no ACMW, they're just afraid to even apply for this program because they believe that they're not enough, that they cannot be coders, programmers, or whatever. And I think it's really sad, but at the same time, it's really cool that here we have ACMW who would show girls like, no, you can do it. So yep, here's this picture was taken 2 years ago because before we all the with quarantine and COVID happened. So some of these members are already graduated. Yeah, so the recruitment is closed. I mean, full recruitment to ACM, and it might get opened in winter, but I'm not sure yet. Maybe we will need some people in order to organize Hack in You, but you still can participate in all of our events. So in order to not to skip them, you can subscribe to our Telegram channel. You can see it on the screen. It's ACM SC, quite easy one. And we also have a really brilliant Instagram where we last several days we're posting about internships. And yeah, kind of reminder once again so that we have an internship talk tomorrow at 5 p.m. Don't miss it. And link will be found on our Telegram channel. We also have TikTok. We made some videos there. And yeah, I guess that's it. Any questions? Oh, let me open the chat. Right.
Guys, don't be shy. If you have any questions, you can write them, type them in the chat, or unmute yourself and ask.
Yep. So the question is, how to participate in a CPC? You can join. Look, ACM ICPC is a different like. It's not ACM. So ACM is just a club where we make events, right? But in many schools and at many universities, ACM is a CPC, right? So coding competition. In order to participate in the competition itself, you need to join the SIG. I will share the link in the chat shortly. Wait, what? Yeah, so you can just join the ICPC group, and when the registration will start, they will like gather the teams and share them. How to open this thing? I don't know how to use Zoom. Oh, yeah, I found it. I found the chat. Yep. So to everyone, and here's the link. It's not. It's linked not for the chat, but for the announcement of ICPC SAG, and I guess you can join the chat itself from this. Yeah. Next. Yeah. So yeah, I hope it was very useful. And I hope you won't miss our events because I'm not really older than you, right? I'm just on my second year, and I remember coming to foundation here at Nazarbayev University. The first IT event I ever visited was that from ACM. It was I guess it was something about like getting into Google Step or something. And it was really inspiring. From that point, I tried not to miss any other events. So yeah, it's just you have so many opportunities as computer science student, like really a lot of them, and you might just not get to know them simply because you are not around those people who will search for the opportunities with you, right?
Any other questions, guys? Don't be shy. Ask. Okay, guys, if you don't have any questions, I think that it's about it. So thank you very much for coming to the session. We were supposed to have another speaker from another club of CS major. There's someone wanting to ask a question. You can unmute yourself, Rawan.
Okay, thank you. I heard that some of the students remained on the third year and do not enter on the first year. So how this process be like? It will be remained some minuses. I'm not ever sure about it, but if you know about this.
I didn't really get the question. So you're asking why most of the students interning on their third year or what?
I heard that some of the speakers remained on the third course.
I see. So you're talking about academic leave, right?
Yes.
It was Temirzhan and right.
I think I can answer this question. So you're asking why, or yeah, so basically, as a student, you can take an academic leave for different reasons. It can be because of health problems, for example, or like any stuff. It can be work or health, anything. In my case, like me and a couple of my friends, we were during the pandemic and we didn't really like our online kind of curriculum and studies. So we decided just to take an academic leave and work for 1 year in the industry and wait while all this COVID stuff stops and we go back to campus. Yes, hopefully this answers your question. I mean, it's not kind of mandatory thing. It just was because of our circumstances, because of COVID. Yeah, I mean, just bear this in mind that all students have this opportunity, but not all students do that. It's a very rare thing, I think. Yes.
And it's free, yeah?
Yeah, it's free. You just have to give a proof to your advising center, to your advisor, that your academic leave has a reason. For example, me and my friends, we just submitted our work offers and they were like, okay, it's fine. The work is a good reason. Yes.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Any other questions, guys? So, okay, I guess there are no other questions. As I mentioned, we were supposed to have the third speaker, but because of the emergency that happened with them, we unfortunately cannot listen to them talk. However, I hope that you got something useful for yourself from this session. Thank you for the speakers very much. You've helped us a lot, Malika and Temirzhan, and also thanks all the other guys, first year students, foundation students who came to this session. Hope it was useful for yourself, and yeah, thank you and goodbye to everyone.
Bye bye.